how I personally budget my money every single month. That is exactly what we're going to be going through in this video. I'm going to talk you through the process that I go through normally on payday every single month, how I allocate my money to different parts of my spending and investing, and hopefully it will be helpful for your own budgeting, and maybe you can incorporate some things that I say into your own monthly budgeting methods. And if you don't budget, hopefully this might get you to start thinking about budgeting, because then you have better control over your money and you know where it's going, which is the main point of budgeting.
You like that? You like that?
If you do enjoy this video, drop a like on it, I'd really appreciate it, and subscribe for more investing and personal finance videos. I try to release at least one a week. So first of all, before I go into the exact details, it's worth saying the approach I use, and that is zero-based budgeting. I also think budgeting is a word with bad connotations. People just think it's people pinching pennies and tracking every penny you're spending. For me, my budget is usually quite loose, quite flexible.
That's what she said.
And even though I call it a budget, it's mainly just me allocating my money to things I definitely need to pay or need to use my money for, and then the rest that is left over I can use for whatever I want, nights out, eating out, holidays, whatever it is. Which brings me back to my approach, which is zero-based budgeting. And with zero-based budgeting, how it works is you allocate every pound that you earn to either investing, saving, or expenses every single month. So hypothetically, if you're left over with the end of the month, say £50, you can then use that £50 to do something with it, maybe spend it, maybe invest it. You then get paid again that month and it resets again. So every month your money is cleared down to zero, and that's essentially, I guess, efficiently using your money, because every month you're using every pound that you're earning and putting it to use, whether it is spending, investing, saving. So let me talk you through how I personally do this.
Relax and take notes.
First of all, what I will do every single month is on payday, I'll get a little spreadsheet up and I'll write down how much I've got paid, my net income. I can also show you an example to the side to help you visualize it. Now, my net income is pretty much the exact same every single month, so I know what I'm going to expect. But actually worth mentioning, even before I get my money in my bank account, I will actually check my payslip through the HR portal at the company I work at. This is very important. You want to make sure you're actually getting paid the right amount. This is money you're obviously working hard for, so whether it's tax, NI, student loan, any other deductions, if you're due a bonus or a pay rise, make sure your payslip is actually right and you're getting the right amount of money. Assuming you've got the right amount of money, that is then your net income, that's your top line figure, and that's where we're going to start. Step 2, I then write down all of the fixed expenses that I need to pay over the course of the following month. So for me personally, that's rent, because I'm living in London. That's bills. I know bills are variable and it could fall under variable expenses, but me personally, me and my housemates, we always transfer a set amount for bills to our house current account every single month. I've then got gym, which is the same amount every single month, and then a few other little subscriptions like Netflix, Spotify, and Apple's iCloud. Yes, I know, it's mad. I make content on money and I've got Netflix. If I just cancelled that Netflix subscription, that £11 a month, I could probably buy a house next year. Might have triggered a few boomers. Of course, you can't afford a house by just cancelling Netflix. You may have some other fixed expenses as well, maybe insurance if you play it monthly, and other things coming out. But what you're gonna do is here, you're gonna write down all your fixed expenses under your net income. Haaland just scored, 3-2. He's in my fantasy though, so that's fine.
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
Number 3, after net income and fixed expenses, you can probably guess this, and this is variable expenses. These are expenses that you know you have to pay, but might change every month. So for me, the main one, and really the only one, other than bills, which I mentioned already, is food. And I'm exclusively here, for me personally, just talk about food shopping, where I want to set aside a portion of money that I will use for food shopping every single month. And once again, because I sort of lived in London for a few years, I generally know what I'm going to spend on food shopping every single month. Of course though, you may have some variable expenses that you definitely need to pay, and this is where you want to put them in. And now we have net income minus fixed expenses minus variable expenses. And it's important to say, these fixed and variable expenses are what you need to pay for. Bills, food, rent, these are almost like necessities that you don't want to live without. For me, obviously, it's also Spotify and Netflix, but these are things that are definitely going to come out of your bank account every single month, no matter what. The next step after this, which I believe now is step 4, is then looking at saving and investing and allocating a portion of your money to investing or to saving. It depends on what your goals are, where you're at of your life, but of course you want to be trying to allocate some money either to save and invest in. And this is there where you also want to put it in your spreadsheet, in your calculation, and minus that amount as well. So for me personally, This mainly looks like my Vanguard stocks and shares ISA payment that comes out automatically every single month, as well as usually I try and put 50 to 60 pound in crypto every single month. For you personally, this could be putting money in a holiday fund that you're building up for next year's holiday, for a Christmas fund for Christmas presents, for a house deposit fund in the lifetime ISA. There could be a whole array of things and different investing and saving pots you're trying to build up, and this is the place to put them. So we've now got your net income minus fixed expenses, minus variable expenses, minus investing and saving, and this is now where you get the bottom line of what I call fun money.
Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for. That's what it's all about.
And this now essentially is your fun money, your discretionary income, what you can spend on whatever you want. For me personally, this is the money that I now use for nights out, for takeaways, for maybe extra travel if I'm traveling back home for a weekend, for five-a-side football. Maybe if I go on holiday, I might use some of that for spending money. Potentially might try and invest a little bit more that month if I know I've not got many social things coming up and won't need as much spare cash. And that exactly is how I budget every single month using that process. I've been doing this now for a number of years, and literally on payday, it takes me just a few minutes. A lot of the numbers are the same every single month. My rent's always the same. My Vanguard investment's always the same. Usually my net income's the same. So it's almost formulaic at this point. I know how much I'm gonna have as sort of the bottom line, and that is then money that I will use for essentially fun things. Now, one thing to note here, you can take this a bit of a step further and make it even better, because once you get to that final fun money number, if you know you have certain things that month, then you can of course minus them, because they're definitely going to come out.
Obvious.
For example, I play football on a Wednesday and it normally costs about £7 or £8. So I know every single month about 30 quid is going to be coming out to pay for football. So I can essentially put that in and get a more accurate representation of what my sort of fun money actually is and what I can actually spend on nights out, takeaways, all that sort of stuff. A few extra things I do which I like doing. Normally what I'll try and do is each month is work out as a percentage of my both net salary and gross salary how much I've invested. This then sort of tells me how well I guess I'm avoiding lifestyle inflation and able to invest as much as I possibly can each month, whilst of course also having balance and fun and all that sort of stuff. I generally aim for about 25 to 30% of my net income to invest per month. But of course, the good thing about all of this is some things are flexible. So if I wanted to, I could reduce my investments in a given month and then have more fun money to use for social things. Although generally speaking, I try and keep almost all of the fixed variable and investing and saving all expenses the exact same. And then I know if I'm running out of money before the end of the month, then I'm essentially living beyond my means, going a bit too big, and then I'm not managing my money well. So it's almost good as well, because over time you can then tweak the numbers to make it work for you. But yeah, that is exactly how I budget, how I've done it for years. I wouldn't really even call it a budget. I actually do call it the fun money calculation, just because you can work out how much money you can use for fun things and then spend that every single month. If you did enjoy this video, please leave a like. I really appreciate it. It lets me know that you've enjoyed it. And please share as well in the comments below your budgeting method. Do you follow a similar approach? Do you do something completely different? I know there are a lot of methods out there like 50, 30, 20. I tend to use this because it's more loose, more flexible, and it sort of fits my lifestyle living in London. And maybe I might not go out some weeks, then I'll go out twice the next week. So it's quite flexible and loose, which is what I like about it.
That's what she said.
Whatever you use though, let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.